Today on the channel, it's November 25th, 2025, and we're recapping the 2025 edition of Ringside Collectibles Ringside Fest.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another recap video. And today we're recapping something special, Ringside Fest from Ringside Collectibles over there on their YouTube channel. Of course, Ringside, every year they do a Ringside Fest, and November 25th, 2025, to lay the date out there for everybody, was Ringside Fest 2025. It was done the same way the last couple of years, via Zoom. Now, I know a lot of people are anti this, like, why can't they go to the old days of Ringside Fest? Well, at the end of the day, I know my company, every company under the sun, budgets aren't what they once were, and I have to imagine Mattel and Ringside the same way. Just as easy to do Zoom as doing it in person, saves a lot of money. We get it, it's just the way it goes at the end of the day. But we did have the usual crew there with Steve and Bill. We had Tom from Ringside, Magic there this year, and then we had two special guests in Ricky Starks and Ray Phoenix. Pretty much the usual Ringside Fest beginnings there, as they do a little bit of a short interview, a chit-chat, a talk with the two guests, and then they announced a figure of each, and I guess that's what we'll start here today. We'll work our way in order through all the announcements, give a little commentary along the way. But we'll start with Ricky Starks. Of course, no stranger to action figures, as he did have AEW figures in the past. They did officially announce a Defining Moments Ricky Starks. Now, I've talked about this in the past. To me, Defining Moments, it doesn't seem like Ricky Starks is a defining moment. It just recently happened this year. That's not a defining moment. Who knows what will happen in his future? But taking that big step back, it's very similar to classic superstars once upon a time, where this guy didn't feel classic. Here we are a couple of decades later, it feels classic. I think that's where it goes with some of these defining moments. So you got to put yourself in that headspace a little bit. So to get Ricky Starks, North American title, does got the vest with him, got a brand new sculpted hand we can use for Ricky Starks, which we might see for Booker T in the future. Looks pretty good, all things considered. I'm by no means a huge Ricky Starks fan, but as far as Ricky Stark figures go, this looks to be his best figure yet, and we did have a few Jazzwares, as I mentioned earlier. And speaking of Jazzwares, speaking of AEW talent that are now in WWE, Ray Phoenix getting a defining moment to match his brother, which we'll talk about later on in this very video. Ray looks really good as well. I really like the inclusion of the soft goods jacket on this one. It makes it really stand out. And it is Ray Phoenix from, I believe, WrestleMania. That's going to be his defining moment. But if you're getting his brother, you might as well throw him in there. So we're getting Ray Phoenix in the defining moments. Now, defining moments, remember, Ringside Collectibles exclusive. Use code Kyle, save yourself 10%. You know the drill by now. But they went in for those two defining moments. They went in for the two guests, and I'm not going to recap the guests. You can watch some of that if you want to hear some jibber jabber with Ray Phoenix and Ricky Starks, but we're here about the figures. They did go to the main event series, which, gotta say, main event series, the most improved maybe series of 2025. Most difficult to find, it seems like, but we got some bangers in this series. And we did see a new Kevin Owens here. Of course, it's the Dusty-inspired shirt from his Cody feud. I know a lot of people collect the KO figures that reference cool little t-shirt designs, so we do got that in the main event series. We got CM Punk in his pink gear, little smirk on the face. How about that? Everybody likes a little CM Punk from time to time, and they're going to get the most out of their molds. They're going to get the most out of their heads with CM Punk. Hopefully the drug-free tattoos come back. They didn't mention that in any of the CM Punk figures. They didn't say anything about tattoos. They didn't say about Seth Rollins' back tattoo. There was no conversation about that. Obviously a controlled video. It wasn't live for the audience to ask questions and stuff, and I'm sure that would have came up, but I know they're trying to work on that. I don't know if CM Punk's just no longer drug-free, doesn't want it on there anymore. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a miss out of the factory. We did see Logan Paul debuting some new Striper gear, making Oz Fox real happy there. So Logan Paul back at it with the yellow and black attack. We know how that goes. A bit of a surprise one here. I would have assumed this one would have been an Elite somewhere along the line, but it is Razor Ramon in the main event from his match against Bret Hart. In red, you don't see very often from the bad guy. I'm here for that. Another one that's amazing. This is what I like my main event style figures for. It's basically, let's call it tracksuit Cody Rhodes with the Nightmare jacket. I love this. You wouldn't see this as an elite necessarily, but it's perfect for the main event line. I love stuff like this, and this Cody's going to be a must-have. A bit of a one I was surprised about is NWO Hogan with removable belt and bandana in the main event line. We've probably had better ones in the elite line, but it's always cool to get a deep cut. I don't know if that's a deep cut. Kind of deep cut Hulkster in the main event line. I'm here for that. And then we do get Ethan Page, another figure collector, so you know he's happy to get a main event style figure. Got Ethan Page coming to the main event line. After the main events, they went to the Showdown series. Not too much shown in the Showdown series. We saw Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. Easy pass for me. Not too different than some of their elites and other figures we've had in the past. Cena and Cody, that's a pretty cool idea. Obviously, we remember back to WrestleMania and everything that went inside of that. So that's cool to get. But the coolest pack of the bunch right here, Cactus Jack, his first ever main event figure. I'm here for that. And then Chelsea Green in her Cactus Jack gear. I think that is a very, very cool 2-pack. That'd be awesome if you're an autograph collector to get both of them to autograph that one. I have to imagine Chelsea's happy about that, and Mick Foley's pretty happy about that. So that's a must-have, a very, very fun pack. I have to imagine that's going to be a pretty hard to get one. First ever Cactus Jack in that line, and then Chelsea. I got to think that'll be a tough one to get, but looks very, very nice. I'm here for that. After the Showdown packs, we moved over to the Top Picks Elite line, which once again, most improved line could be Top Picks. Getting new figures in that line, that's a pretty cool thing. We're getting John Cena as the quest for all the John Cena shirts comes. We get him in his Glasgow gear, if you're in for that one there. But we're getting almost everything on John Cena's retirement tour as far as t-shirts go, which I'm not against it. It makes sense. It's the end of an era. I'm here for that. We're also seeing Seth Rollins, another stalwart of the Elite line, in the Top Picks line again. And that's not all we're going to see from Cena and Rollins in this very video. They also went to Elite Wave 124, just around the corner. Have to imagine 123 we'll see before year's up from ringside once again. But 124, we got Lyra Valkyria. We've had 2 main event figures from her. Now getting the first Elite. Quite the color combination on this one. Looking very nice. We saw the Motor City Machine Guns. First time in the line. You know I'm here for first timers in the line. Guys that have been around a heck of a long time. All the way back to the Jakks TNA days, if you can believe that. Sabin and Shelley coming in hot. CM Punk, once again, no stranger to any of these lines. We're used to about every CM Punk, especially every pay-per-view main event gear, whatever you want to call it, throughout the years. We're going to get that in action figure form one way or the other from CM Punk. We also saw Jey Uso. I believe this is the gear he won the Royal Rumble in, if I'm not mistaken. So you knew that was going to be a figure once upon a time, and the time is apparently now. And we also saw an LWO Rey Mysterio in kind of a whitish off-white color, looking pretty good here. Like a young Tito Santana once upon a time, wearing all white there. But Rey Mysterio, another guy, we don't get quite as many figures as we used to, but a guy that never turned down a figure, and a guy that is collected by a lot of figure collectors as well. So a new Rey Mysterio around the corner. Then they skipped over Elite 125 and they went to Elite 126. We saw the Mania gear, Roman Reigns, another guy. Anytime they change just a little bit of something, you know we're going to get that as a Roman figure. We get so many Romans that are so similar. We're getting this one here based off that new Top Picks body. We got new head sculpts for Roman finally. So if you're liking Roman, you're pretty excited about this one. We saw a new Jimmy Uso. He's got to keep up with his brother. We know how that goes. We got Jimmy Uso back to the line. One I imagine a lot of people are going to be after. First time in the line, El Grande Americano. I don't anticipate this to be last time in the line, though, and we might get some of his cohorts in the future as well, but that one will be pretty fun. Another first time in the line, Javon Evans. He's been on NXT for the last year plus. Very popular performer. Wouldn't be shocked to see him in SmackDown and Raw probably sometime in 2026. Moving on from NXT. We'll see what happens with that one. And then Roxanne Perez representing the Judgment Day here. So we're going to get her. Have to imagine her and Liv Morgan are going to square off sometime in 2026. You would think, right? We'll see what ends up happening there. But we got in 126 there. But now, I was a bit surprised that Ringside talked about this, as usually they do not talk about the Walmart or Target exclusives because they can't sell them on their website. So why would they want to devote time to them on their stream? But they did this time, and I'm here for that. We saw some Monday Night Wars coming, and we got the Mall of America first Monday Nitro Hulk Hogan coming. Somebody get me a Pasta Mania Hulkster. Unfortunately, that got canceled. Part of the stage. We do remember that fondly. But we're getting closer. We're getting closer. First Nitro Hulkster, looking pretty cool. A moment in time if there ever was one. We do get Bryan Adams. We're building out that B and C Team NWO shelf. We got Bryan Adams first time in the line. 2 heads on Bryan Adams, which I thought was interesting as well. Looking pretty good. We're getting a bit of a retread. We're getting Rick Rude in a different color suit. That's a little bit of a stretch. However, it's always nice to get an elite suited body if you want to do some customs, things like that. And Rick Rude, 2 heads for him. Do you have to pick up 2 of these Rick Rudes? You might have to if you're a guy like me. So we got Rick Rude coming back. The Headbangers, how about that? Mosh and Thrasher. Last time we got them was a ringside 2-pack, if I'm not mistaken. Now we're getting them in different gear here. Some interesting gear choices, but I like that they're very different from the last one. I would love the Flying Nuns edition of them from Shotgun Saturday Night. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if they would be PC enough. I don't know what you would title that as. Would love to see more Headbangers in the future. We'll see where that ends up going. We also saw a Sid update, a Steve Blackman update, Head Cheese Steve Blackman. We saw some updated pictures of those. Also, WCW Rowdy Roddy Piper. You know I'm here for that Piper. I love that blonde hair, that moment in time. I want Roddy Piper spending the night in Alcatraz. WCW figure is what I want. But we did see that. We also saw China. We knew about that one from Steve posting that like a week or 2 ago. Looking really, really good. It always reminds me of the cat, too. We need a cat to go with that China is what we really need. Maybe in the future. We also saw X-Pac, the Build-A-Figure, part of that wave. That's a pretty heavy hitter Build-A-Figure, in all honesty. You know, we're used to getting some suited characters and stuff, but that's a pretty monumental X-Pac figure as the Build-A-Figure. I would not be shocked, maybe at the end of 2026, to see that as a vault release from Ringside Collectibles. That writes itself at this point there. We also saw Greatest Hits Monday Night Wars, which isn't a bad idea. I like this Rick Steiner. It's basically a repaint of the last Rick Steiner, which was an awesome figure. This one looks to be really good as well. Same thing, Eddie Guerrero looks to be a little bit of a repaint. Looks really nice. DX, Road Dogg, and Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. I'm here for that. Sounds like they talked a little bit about it, improving the face with the new technology, making it basically a new figure. So we got DX coming back. It's been a while since we've had DX in the Elite line. And then a lot of rumors about this one for the last couple of weeks. Charles Robinson finally getting his first Elite. It's cool to see some of these referee guys to get figures after all this time, especially Little Nate. He's been around for a heck of a long time, so very cool for a first time in the line. Gonna go great on the WCW shelf for that one. But that was basically the Elites they showed off, almost. We got a couple more at the end. But then they moved our attention over to the Ultimate Edition lines. Everybody loves Little Ultimate Edition. Getting a little bit of same old, though. It felt like a lot of characters we've had repeatedly. I guess at the end of the day, we got to remember, follow the money. Jesse Ventura says that all the time. And we did get some guys that have had many Ultimate Editions, which makes the Ultimates feel less ultimate because you get so many Randy Ortons. I don't know, it's a double-edged sword if there ever was one. I was shocked to see no Coliseum collection announcements. Thought that was interesting as we just came off Jesse Ventura and King Kong Bundy here this week, finally shipping out to consumers. But we did first see Ultimate Edition Greatest Hits. We got Cody Rhodes coming back. No stranger to any of the toy lines. We know how that goes. Cody Rhodes Ultimate coming. AJ Styles, we already saw this earlier. I really like the idea with the longer hair for AJ, and I love the mask look. I'm probably going to display him in the mask, but I'm an AJ Styles guy, so I'm happy to get an AJ Styles figure. We don't get a ton of AJ figures. And then The Undertaker, which was an interesting one, as they talked about how he had his straps that could pull down. You could show his tattoo off, but you can't take the shirt all the way off. So some new technology here. Going to be interesting how that fares off when we do get it. We remember back to the Ringside exclusive where you had the straps that came down in like the plastic. We saw it with Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig once upon a time as well. A little bit degrading in that. So it'll be interesting to see how this new technology works and see if they carry that over to other figures in the future. But we got The Undertaker, once again, no stranger to the Ultimate Edition line. Going to another wave of Ultimates. This is a pretty heavy hitter line as well. Seth Rollins in this wave. Obviously no stranger to the Ultimate Edition lines, but he feels like you have to put him in the Ultimate Edition lines. So he always has a crazy helmet, glasses, outfit going there. You can't just stick that in the Elite or main event line. He's got to be an Ultimate. So we're getting him again, once again, as an Ultimate here. Mixture of soft goods. Looks good for what it is, no doubt about it. This one we've seen for a while. I'm really excited about this one. I'm not even a Hulkster guy. You guys know that. I'm a Warrior guy. But Hulk Hogan, where he's ripping the shirt, doesn't get much more iconic than that. We know how that goes. And it reminds me of that zombie Hulk Hogan figure that got canceled many ages ago. Would be cool to get that out eventually. Don't know if that's possible, but this one with the shirt rip for the Hulkster looks absolutely amazing. 3 heads on this one. Could be one of the best Ultimates of next year. We'll see where that ends up going. But not to be outdone, Rhea Ripley, no stranger to any of the lines either, and we're going to see a lot more Rhea Ripley in 2026, I'm fairly certain. But we did see her with a mixture of soft goods once again and a mask. All the tattoos, all the bells and whistles, another Ultimate Rhea Ripley. And I wouldn't be shocked to see another Ultimate Rhea Ripley in 2026 beyond just this one, the way she's on TV all the time. So we did see that. That's a pretty heavy hitter 3-pack lineup there. But they're not done. They moved on to some other ones. And these we've seen, I think, in the future, or in the past, but now they're finally going to be coming out here in the 2026 future. Heel turn John Cena. You knew that had to be a figure. I do like that hug head there where he turned on Cody Rhodes. That's nice attention to detail. That's a good head there for Cena. Once again, no stranger to the line, especially this year, and I'm pretty sure next year we got a lot more Cenas to go. We also saw the watch hand in there, so sculpted in the watch hand where he hit Cody. We'll never forget that. Oh, we'll never forget. Randy Orton back again, very plain Jane Ultimate. That's Randy. Randy's very cool looking, but he's very plain Jane looking, and we got that here. Not quite the size. I know he's bulked up, he's thicker. He just hasn't got there in action figure form yet, so that's a little bit disappointing there. And then Chelsea Green, I believe the Major Pod at their live show for maybe WrestleMania showed off or announced that figure. We got a little deeper in the renders for Chelsea Green. Looks amazing. That middle head sculpt I'm not really sold on, but we'll see how it looks in hand. But Chelsea all over TV as well, you have to imagine. A broken record here, but a lot more of her figures in 2026 and beyond. After that, they went to a few different Ringside collectible exclusives, which makes sense. It's Ringside Fest after all. Very interested to see what's next for them, and we saw some more retros. Now, Jey Uso, we saw that for the first time at San Diego Comic-Con, if I'm not mistaken. We saw the grayscale versions. Now we got the color versions there. He can do the yeet action. Yeeting all over the place in retro form is Jey Uso. We saw Logan Paul. You knew we had to hail Striper again, and we did it here in the retro line. And then Paul Heyman, which honestly is my favorite one of the 3 there. A lot of reuse, though, with these retros. And I guess speaking of that, we'll go to the next one. Retro Rhea Ripley coming. Once again, no stranger to any of the lines. But man, outside of Jay with, I mean, it's just a jumper with different hands. I mean, it really feels like these are just retreads of the same bodies over and over with different head, different paint scheme. I get it. You gotta get the most out of your molds, but I think we're so overloaded with retros now. It just feels like a little much. I don't know. Maybe that's me. You guys sound off in the comments below. But like the Rhea Ripley, we've seen it with Wendy Richter. We've seen it with Medusa. We've seen it with Sherry. I think we saw it with Liz. We saw it with Chyna. Now we get it with Rhea Ripley. That's 6 times with the exact same body, just basically different heads and stuff. It just feels like they need another female mold. Same thing, Paul Heyman. I like that he gets the belt, the microphone. That's a nice touch. But it's that same suited body. We need a different one. I don't know. It just is what it is there with retros. And it's a wild thing where Mattel is kind of the forgotten retro in the retro game, which seems weird as they should be at the forefront, but it almost feels like an afterthought. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. But some heavy hitters there, no doubt about it. But I think a lot of people, when they want retros, they want classic characters. I don't know. It's interesting to get some new blood, though, from time to time. Very controversial right here as we're closing up the video. Not a huge fan of this. It's the Vault. Which I understand Ringside in their Vault line. It gets some extra sales, but this one, once again, feels too soon to me. We're getting the Dudleys, and it was about a year ago we got the Dudleys 2-pack. I'm assuming, I haven't looked, but you know what happens when you assume. The Dudley Boys 2-pack must be off of Ringside now, must be sold out, so they're coming as a Vault release singly. I don't know. I really wanted those Dudleys. I was kind of hoping they would say, hey, we fixed some of the sizing issues on these, but it looks like it's just a straight-up re-release. Is what it is. I love the Dudleys. I'm an ECW guy, but I wish these figures were a little bit better than they came out, and it looks like we're going to get a chance at them again. Same thing here is another one that is a little bit grinding my gears and probably others out there. It's former Monday Night Wars exclusives. The Chase Edition, Booker T, Stevie Ray, the Harlem Heat, one of the greatest tag teams of all time, but re-releasing the Chase Editions as a Vault. I wish there was more time in between this, or I wish there were some differences. They did say they're getting the WCW titles with them, so that's nice to get those tag titles, but I wish there was some more time. I really wish the Vault would go back to some early looks of like 2010, 11, 12, 13 on some of the Rey Mysterios. I mean, we've had a lot of amazing Rey Mysterios that could use a refresher. I'd rather see that in the Vault than the Dudleys we just got about a year ago. Now, that's just my opinion. Once again, you guys sound off in the comments, but I get it. I can see somebody saying, I didn't couldn't find the Monday Night Wars Chase, Booker T, and Stevie Ray at my Walmarts, so I wanted another chance at them. You got it here. I get it. It's not one size fits all, but I would have liked to seen older talent move back in. Is what it is. And then we went to the defining moments again. So we started with defining moments. We ended with defining moments. Once again, both ringside collectible exclusives, bookend right there. But we did see the Penta one, which very easily could be the 2026 figure of the year. This figure looks absolutely amazing. They did show that off again. I'm here for that. We also saw Saturday night's main event, Cody Rhodes being shown. I thought that was a really good figure too in the defining moments. And Cody's had a lot of defining moment figures as of late, but he is defining a generation like John Cena before him and Roman Reigns before him, and so on, so on. So it makes sense. And I guess speaking of Roman, it's shocking we haven't had a defining moments Roman. Have to imagine that's coming one of these days. But maybe the biggest news out of this whole video here was at the very end. Defining moments, ECW edition of New Jack. Absolutely amazing to get New Jack in the line. Very cool to see that. Now, I don't think a lot of us were shocked about that because we did see him in the game. We did hear about the Legends deal around WrestleMania time. There was a lot of talk about it. You know, with that coming, that we would probably get a figure. So I think we all assumed, those that were in the know that pay attention to the news, that we were going to get one. But I don't think we would have guessed it would have been as a defining moment. That's pretty wild. And in all honesty, I think he would have been better as a big box set full of plunder and different stuff. I think that would have been an amazing ringside exclusive box set. I could see the figure here, extra heads, extra hands. You get a kendo stick, you get the stapler, which we get here, and we'll get into that in a second. Could have gave him a grocery cart, maybe a VCR. I think there would have been a lot of a cool build-out pack they could have done for that. Is what it is, but he is in the defining moments and he's going to have build out. He's got the extra hands and stuff. He has an extra head with the bandana around it. You get the regular head out of the package, but the money head, once again, much like Stone Cold in the recent defining moments, we're getting a bloody version of New Jack. Now, we're seeing Mattel saying we're not scared to do bloody figures now, so I would say almost everything is on the table. I think the caveat to it is it's going to be a ringside exclusive. I think that's fair. I think it's not ready for mass production out there at retail, just like Jazzwares, but it's perfect for Mattel to go via ringside. I am here for that. I can co-sign on that. I'm here for that for all day long. And dare I say twice on Sunday even. But the Bloody Head New Jack is probably the one most people are going to use. But we got the staple gun coming to the line. I think that is really cool. And who knows what other plunder we might end up getting with him. Maybe they'll throw in a kendo stick or something. But the stapler is plenty. Extra hands. 3 heads on this one. And then a soft goods shirt. I forgot to mention that. You know, we've had New Jack figures in the past with the ECW original San Francisco toy makers. Check out my book if you haven't already. And we got them from Figure Collections once upon a time. But it's pretty safe to say this is probably going to be the greatest New Jack figure of all time. Get to go perfect on my ECW shelf right over there. And I thought that was a cool way to leave Ringside Fest. Leave them wanting more, seeing which that one's there. Have to imagine maybe summertime, fall release on that New Jack. I guess we'll see what happens here. I'm assuming, once again, you know what happens when you assume, but that'll be with Ricky Starks and Ray Phoenix. Geez, easy for me to forget. I would think maybe that's set. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see where it all ends up netting out there on the Ringside Fest announcements. But that's it. There was quite a lot of stuff shown this time around. I know a lot of people want it the old way of being done. I think I'm just happy to get something here, some news releases, as this is kind of the big announcement as we gear towards WrestleMania come March, April timeframe. So a lot of stuff, and it's also overwhelming. I'm taking these notes down. I'm like, man, oh man, my wallet's going to be hurting. But we have to remember, this is like 6 months worth of figures all shown at once. It's not like these are all going to come out at the same day. So you got to remind yourself that. You also don't have to get everything. We also remember that as well. But quite the Ringside Fest. I don't know. It was fine for me. I think it did exactly what it normally does. You got the interview. You got the small talk at the beginning with new performers, first time in the line performers, which I think is fun. And then a heck of a lot of news to end it with. I'm here for that. Suspicious by its absence was Coliseum Collection, though. I wonder if that's ran its course. We'll have to see. Maybe it's just going to be a little bit of a delay in between. Not exactly sure, or maybe it's just not going to be as much. We'll see what ends up happening there. I also thought it was interesting. They showed off Walmart stuff on a Ringside thing. Thought that was really interesting. I don't know if there's rumors out there that these will be available on Ringside, maybe a shared exclusive. I don't see that happening, but I guess never say never in this crazy world where it's about the money. If all sides can find a way to do it and make the money, you know they're going to do it. Jesse Ventura said follow the money. I've been listening ever since. But there it is, Ringside Fest 2025. Be interested to hear your thoughts on Ringside Fest. What are you most excited about? What are you happy about? What are you excited to see? What can you not wait for? What felt like it missed the mark for you? Let me know in the comments down below. I guess I gotta say, some of the early heavy hitters for me, the new Jack obviously is a big one. The Chelsea Green Cactus Jack 2-pack I thought was really an awesome idea. The Penta defining moment still shines through. I love the idea of that. I like the Hulkster with the ripped shirt as well. I thought the Rhea Ripley Ultimate was really good. I like that AJ Styles Greatest Hits a whole lot. And then first timers in the line is always fun with like Motor City Machine Guns and things like that. So a lot of stuff to be excited about, a lot of stuff to look forward to. And once again, ask you to put your thoughts in the comments down below. And you made it this far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day and then some. And I have 2 YouTube channels. A lot of people don't realize that, but I got videos every single day on both those channels. Make sure you subscribe to both of them. You never know what's going to be on either channel. Make sure you do subscribe. Check out YouTube and Patreon for even more content and to support the channel. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and The Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, which conveniently enough is the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, available each and every Tuesday wherever podcasts are found, with video cast on YouTube. So for Ringside Fest 2025, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?